Good morning. Welcome to Farmington, New Mexico and Fellowship of Spirit on this beautiful first Sunday of August. It's still hot out there. I was kind of hoping it would cool down a bit, but not yet. We're very lucky to have our Bill Clark with us today. And his usual smart remarks. Anyway, this is Potluck Sunday, and we have a little bit to share, and hopefully all of you out there will be enjoying your at-home potluck. Our mission is to positively affect our world by extending peace, love, spirituality, understanding, and friendship to all people with grace and gratitude. Our vision is to be a spiritual center of awakening the I Am Christ consciousness, and membership is open to everyone. And Susan, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Just wondering if you will do our opening prayer after the prelude.
Yes.
Okay, and we have the affirmation in your binder, played by our own Shay Johnson.
All the songs today are from the binder.
Steve. Steve.
You are beautiful. You are strong. You are healthy. You are whole. You are radiant. You are powerful. You are now coming in to your own. You are beautiful. You are strong. You are healthy. You are whole. You are radiant. You are powerful. You are now coming in to your own.
Beautiful. Thank you, Shay. And we have our lovely Susan Barnes in Belize, Central America, with our opening prayer.
Good morning. So, Jerry, you said it's very warm there.
Yes.
It's warmer here.
Only because you have high humidity.
Yes.
I bet you're not at 102.
Not in this room, I'm not.
Well, not in this room either.
Okay, so if we would center ourselves, take a deep breath, and allow that energy to flow down through the crown chakra. Creator, Mother, Father, God, we give thanks for this opportunity to come together one more time. We give thanks for our opportunity to make choices of how we want our lives to be lived in good health, with good food, with good friends, with the opportunity to choose how we want to unite with the source of all that is good. We give thanks for our ability to make wise choices, and that we can continue on in good health, with good thoughts, with knowing that even in challenging times, those are the times that make us strong and make us better able to appreciate all the good that surrounds us every minute, every hour, every month, every year. All things are truly in divine order, and we give thanks for all of that. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Susan. I kind of got hung up on that part about good choices and immediately thought of the serenity prayer of knowing the difference. Okay, we have a reflective moment. Nope, we have a song. Turn, 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 and it's in your binder.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to weep, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to rend, a time to sow, a time of love, a time of hate, a time of peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven.
Thank you, Shay. And if you will read along with me for our reflective moment. Love produces a flow of energy that I now feel. I love others more than ever, and I feel privileged to be here. Love flows from one person to another as we create an atmosphere of holiness, and so it is. And we have our lovely Kate, who will be doing our spiritual energy treatment, and that will be followed by Steve, who will be doing our spiritual reading. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Just take some deep breaths, relax. I'm going to play the singing bowls, and as you start to hear the resonance resonating Just flow with it. Just get your heart together and just think about who you want, the situations that you want to send love and energy to, and the people, and I'm just going to play the bowls. So
You want me to clip that to you?
I'll get it. Okay. Nice deep breaths. So with your breath, you are just breathing in love, breathing in positive energy. As you hear the vibration, the resonance, gathering energy, gathering love. In this moment, this very moment, we gather energy for those situations, people, places in our lives. Our Mother Earth. We become one. And we hold that space. Nice deep breaths in. Be still. It's being in the moment. It's being still and present. That's where the power is. Namaste. Sorry.
That's really what has quite the resonance on it. I think a good thing to do would be to set the bench down here and with them on it and have you behind it. Yeah. I didn't either till I was watching you, and I thought that way people could watch the polls also.
Just about. Thank you. Thank you. See if I,
Give a report on Margaret.
You should just stayed on that side of it.
yeah, I'm fine.
Do what? I'll give you one in a little bit.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to August 1st. You know, when Sunday is the first day of the month, and Friday the 13th is happening that month. And so I opened up today's daily guides, and I thought, I wonder what they're going to talk about on Friday the 13th, and it was fear. Well, as it turns out, the whole month, this Reverend Kelly Robbins is talking about fear. And I'll read the little prelude here. This month's daily guides focus on a powerful emotion, fear. Fear can be debilitating and, when examined and explored, can serve as a catalyst for growth and awakening. Fear is Spirit's personal message that we have an opportunity for healing. If we so choose, fear can offer an opportunity to deepen our oneness with each other and with all of life. Although we often try to avoid fear, this month we will explore how fear as a springboard for our soul's evolution and personal enlightenment. And so here's the reading for today. Fear, the antithesis of faith. A man that flies from his fear may find that he has only taken a shortcut to meet it. That's J.R.R. Tolkien of the trilogy. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That's Hebrews 11:1, quoted by Ernest Holmes. When I was young, my first corporate job was as a supervisor of a customer service counter. One day, a client walked in asking for a cash refund. Our company policy was not to give cash for refunds in this way. He was angry and threatened us with a gun. I remember standing there, frozen in fear, not wanting to make a bad decision and not budging on the refund. I didn't know what to do. In the corner of my eye, I saw an employee slowly edge towards the safety button under the counter. Thankfully, the customer left without incident. In the moment, I learned something about myself. I freeze in fear, and not everyone responds in that way. Today, there is a good chance I'll still freeze in a fearful situation. However, I now have fewer of those situations, and I have the tools and the confidence to make a decision without fear of being wrong. Ernest Holmes taught that fear is the opposite of confidence, and that fear and trust cannot exist together. I trust myself so much more now than I did as a young woman because of my understanding of how God works. I am not afraid to make the wrong decision because I trust I am a channel through which God expresses. I have the tool of affirmative prayer to help realize this truth whenever and as frequently as I need it. The affirmation is, I am a channel through which God creates. I know the nature of God is love, wholeness, and harmony, and my life reflects that. Thank you.
Words of wisdom from Ernest Holmes. Okay, for those of you who would like an update on Margaret, I received a very long text and I'll just give you the highlights of it. The biopsy results came back and confirmed their suspicions of a high-grade, grade 4 glioblastoma, which is essentially the worst case. The oncologists recommend palliative care due to her current physical state. She's unable to swallow, so they have her in a feeding tube. They're more concerned about her swallowing at this point due to the tumor and that she may not regain the ability to swallow on her own if they do the surgery. While there may be technically treatment options, all signs point to the best case prognosis of 2 to 4 months, with most of that depending on whether she can swallow on her own again. They are researching options both in Albuquerque and in Farmington, and her son Philip will hopefully have more information on Monday of this next week. And so he's looking at bringing her back home if he can, and either finding a facility to put her in or somebody to stay with her at home. And I don't know how long he's planning on staying, but I offered our help in any which way we could, whether it's meals or to drive him around and show him where the different facilities are and to visit with him. Anyway, I've not heard back, so I don't know anything at this point, but the long-term prognosis is not good. They don't want to operate on this tumor. So we just keep her in our prayers. Okay, we have a song, I Wish I Knew How. And sometimes I really wish I knew how. I think we all do.
I wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all these chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things I should say. Say 'em loud, say 'em clear, for the whole world to hear. I wish I could share all the love in my heart. Remove all the bars that still keep us apart. I wish you could know what it means to be me. Then you'd see and agree everyone should be free. I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. I wish I could live like I'm longing to live. I wish I could do all the things I can do. Though I'm way overdue, I'd be starting anew. I wish I could be like a bird in the sky. How sweet it would be if I found I could fly. I'd soar to the sun and look down at the sea. Then I'd sing 'cause I'd know how it feels to be free.
Wow. Thank you, Shay. That was beautiful. Okay, I would like to welcome Ian Glory down in Belize, Central America, to talk some more about Gnosticism. He shared with us last week, and he's going to add to that this week. So this is a very interesting subject, and I hope you all appreciate the information that he brings us. Welcome, Ian.
Thank you very much, Jerry, and thank you all for being present today. Thank you for being so strong supporters of your church and for the long commitment that you have. I hope that it wasn't too intense, my talk that I gave last week, and I'm hoping that today I will be able to close that up. However, I told Susan, if you really need to understand Gnosticism, you would need a course of hours and hours, and I'm trying to put everything in perspective in such a short time. So 40 to 50 minutes total between last week and this week isn't even enough to touch the foundation. However, I hope that it will help you understand better and really be able to analyze your own convictions, as we said before. Again, welcome back to the second part of the presentation on Gnosticism. As said before, most of the information being presented to you are from other authors, and I just compiled their opinion to help us all put together and understand truly what Gnosticism is. Last week, I presented to you its historical context, its belief, the impact Gnosticism has on our history and beliefs, hopefully helping you understand a bit better why Gnosticism survived the age of time, and we will look at that a little bit deeper this time, and the relation to other creeds, religions, Catholicism, and Masonry, and all of these things. This week, we will look and discuss the subject more in depth, and hopefully we can come to a consensus on what is truly Gnosticism. For sure, Gnosticism is one of the most confusing and enigmatic Christian groups which beliefs were considered sacred knowledge or secret knowledge to a lot. Now, according to History of Western Thought, number 23 on the subject of Gnosticism, it's not sure when it began, but they're sure that it showed up some point around the beginning of the writings of the New Testament, around the early Christian era, which are there are a couple of different Christian books that were interacting with these Christian ideas known as proto-Gnosticism, such as in St. Paul's letter to the Galatians, or in the book of 1 John, as well as in the rest of the Johnanian writings. So Gnosticism may have had its root in Judaism prior to Christianity. These are things that are amply discussed because nobody knows the true origins, and we will visit some of these ideas as we understand it more. Nowadays, modern, in the advent of movies, it has been touched on several points. There are especially those who claim that they are based on real historic facts, and people are diving deeper into the searchings and questioning more than ever their past in search for the truth. Then let's look at an example. Let's look at the point of view from the ancient texts and traditions of Gnosticism, defining the terms and navigating the complex history and controversies of this topic. Let's look at Dan Brown's novels. I'm sure all of you have heard of the Da Vinci Code and Angels and Demons. He frequently incorporates Gnostic ideas and symbolism, and he presents Gnosticism as a secret tradition that has been suppressed by Catholic Church, but it's been preserved by secret societies throughout history. Brown's portrayal of Gnosticism has helped spark that resurgence of popular interest in the topic, even leading people to explore Gnosticism as a type of spirituality for today. It's kind of like a new age pirate religion. It's something to make Catholicism squirm as well. And however, it's important to note that Brown's account of Gnosticism is utterly, if not hopelessly, obviously fictionalized and does not accord with the actual history and the religion tenets of Gnosticism, at least not according to the scholars. But Gnosticism is a very interesting field to study on its own. It's certainly a big part of the story of second century Christianity. I mean, it did make a big wave back then. It did make a big splash. And it was important because it led to huge debates and disagreements in what was the very substance of Christian faith. Yet, we have to ask, what do we mean by Gnosticism? And exactly who are the Gnostics? Well, this is a necessary topic. We've got to look because of this sensationalism and hype around that, and also the assumptions that simply get recycled farther rather than actually being checked or verified. This is a complex topic because the ancient sources are not always clear, nor are they always in agreement about Gnosticism. Let's be real about this. Who writes history? The winners. The ones that gain the power have always been the ones to write history. So how much of it is real? How much of it has a basis? That yet has to be confirmed. And this is a contested topic because even scholars disagree on what Gnosticism is and where it came from. Therefore, in the next viewings that we're going to look at, we are going to focus in Gnosticism a little bit more. First off, and in the remainder of this presentation, we have to look at some definitions again. And then secondly, we're going to try to go deep into Gnosticism. We're going to go down the rabbit hole and see how far it takes us. And then we're going to try and figure out where did it all come from. You know, we're going to try to unwrap these secrets of the origins of Gnosticism. All that and more coming in just a while. So try to stay awake, try to keep up, okay? But it's not a common sense of facts. It's often used in a sense of something like intellect, insight, or having a deeper understanding of a topic. It can refer to something akin to wisdom or sophisticated grasp of some subject matter. If you look at 1 Corinthians, you'll see that Paul talks a lot about knowledge when addressing various topics with Corinthians, like food sacrifice to idols. And when Paul uses this term, it seems to imply a kind of privileged perspective of some topic with a kind of spiritual quality about it. So that now Paul and the early Christians use gnosis. It meant a special knowledge with a kind of spiritual depth to it. We can see how even in Christianity today, this idea of Gnosticism is used, however, dressed under a different name. I was in a service and the preacher, the reverend, said, God is spirit. You know, and he's right, God is spirit. And that's what Gnosticism has always said, because Gnosticism is spiritual. So when it comes to the advent of Gnosticism, one has to make sure that it clearly defines the spiritual realm from the physical. In Gnosticism, the gnosis or the knowledge was that of a cosmic mythology, also about the source of the self from a heavenly realm known as the teroma or the fullness. it was also knowledge of one's destiny, because Gnosticism is not about believing that something God will provide for you. It's about you believing in yourself and what you will provide for yourself, not waiting for the help to fall from the heavens, but you getting up and doing the work to get you out of it with some spiritual belief, strong spiritual belief, and knowing faith, not blind faith, but true faith in yourself, that you are able to do things. It's not just going to fall from heaven. From a writing called the Excerpts of Theodosius, and Theodosius was a Valentinian Gnostic. In that text, what we read is that knowledge that pertains to who we were, what we have become, where we were or where we're placed, where we will go, where are we from, what we are redeemed from, what birth is, and what the new birth is. In other words, without knowledge of oneself, there is no knowledge of things heavenly, of the Savior, of the cosmos, of things past or things to come in the future. So it's about knowing yourself. A Gnostic person, then, a Gnostic is simply someone who is an intellectual or someone who has the right perspective on things. It means knowledge of the truth, the cosmos of salvation. Now, it's interesting because Christian theologians like Clement of Alexandria or Evagrius or Pontius, they could use the term Gnostic to describe themselves in the sense that they saw themselves as Christian intellectuals. And you could say that Gnostics were intellectuals in the sense that they were engaging in the academic activity of trying to reconcile a Platonic worldview with the Jewish and Christian scriptures. They were also confronting the moral problems presented by the Old and parts of the New Testament. They were developing their own ideas of redemption that spoke meaningfully to people as well. The Gnostics were also unafraid of being speculative. They believed that they possessed new revelations of Jesus, secret revelations about Jesus, revelations which showed all the other Christian groups where, if not they were wrong, at least they were somehow deficient. So we could say that a Gnostic is someone who holds to his teachings, teachings about knowledge, knowledge about origins, the self and salvation, things which make up the teachings, the doctrines, the belief that we call Gnosticism. So then, what about Gnosticism? Well, this is a term used by scholars and historians of religion to describe a diverse array of Christian groups, often regarded as heretical, particularly by heretologists who specialize in listening on who the heretics are. Now, these Gnostic groups could sometimes exist within the mainstream church. They often saw themselves as a kind of elite, spiritual, sensitive subgroup, if you like to call them that. Other times, they existed outside the mainstream churches, and as well, these groups were very diverse in their belief and rituals, but generally, Gnosticism seems to revolve around separating the God of creation from the God of salvation. So, in regard of Gnosticism as one type of Jewish or Jewish Christian appropriation of Middle Platonism, generally terrified by a negative evaluation of the material realm, thinking that the material realm is bad, and it casts a creator as a lower tier God. But generally, that what we think Gnosticism is, and that generally where I think a lot of scholars are at how they describe Gnosticism works or what it is. Now, how did leading Orthodox leaders or leading theologians that we mentioned in what we call the pro-Orthodox Church, what do they think of all these claims of people possessing a special gnosis? You know, the Gnosticism and their Gnostic teachers. Well, Christian apologists and heresiologists were highly critical. They said what Gnostic offered was not true. It was not true knowledge because their teachings were not true. In fact, it was in their mind, outright misleading for them. The Gnostics taught a different God, a different Jesus, a different gospel to one that most people knew, to the one that they claimed had been inherited from the apostles. Some even regarded Gnosticism as an unholy marriage of Greek philosophy and Christianity because it invented weird myths as the backstory of Christianity and engage in the esoteric reading of the Old Testament. And this is why a church father like Irenaeus called Gnosticism knowledge falsely called. So he doesn't think it really is knowledge because it's not true. And because it is not true, it doesn't really give you knowledge of God. Here I will touch on a little point that I did not include for today, but I think it's important to mention. I don't know if any of you have studied Egyptian and how it developed. I don't know if anybody has read the story of Horus. And if you have read the story of Horus, it's identical to the story of Jesus. Born of a virgin, everything, to the detail. The Egyptian Horus is the same Christian Jesus. But Egyptians were way before. And where, how, if you want to believe in, consequence and chance, how by chance these two stories of different civilization, thousands of years apart, are identically the same? So now here I do have a point out that some scholars have suggested that, as you know, there was no such thing as Gnosticism. Maybe one of the church fathers, as I told you, like Irenaeus, maybe he just made it all up. I mean, to discredit the types of Christianity that he did not like. Second century Christianity was fragmented, diverse, pluriform. There was a spectrum of all sorts of ideas, and Gnosticism was just the label applied to the stuff, to the types of Christianity that Irenaeus and his heresy-hunting friends did not find particularly agreeable. So that I say, well, I kind of see where you're coming from, but no. Look, on the one hand, yes, the apologists like Irenaeus, Beryllium, Hippolytus, and others were biased and polemically in the extreme against the Gnostics. And yes, Christianity of the 2nd century was diverse. Someone like Justin Martyr, Marcion and Valentinus all enrolled in the year 150 to see how diverse these are. But I tend to think Gnosticism was a real thing because we have this collection of writings that was found and mentioned before called the Nag Hammadi Codices. And they are full texts which cluster around common Gnostic themes. And there's a few other excerpts and texts from authors as well that seem to have similar ideas that move or groove in the Gnostic direction. Things like the Gospel of Judas, the excerpts of Theodosius. There's the Gospel of Mary Magdalene as well, if you want to mention that one. You've also got ancient philosophers like Plotinus. He could kind of name and shame the Gnostics. So he was aware that some Gnostics were claiming that they were taking his own teachings in a particular direction. And Plotinus wanted to differentiate himself from these groups. And you know, for all the ambiguities and problems in defining, Gnostics and Gnosticism, and despite all the debates about the origins of Gnosticism, I think that really there was a cluster of persons and groups that would amount to what we would call Gnosticism. And this is why I like a quote from the classical scholar, Carl C. O'Brien. He's not a theologian, he's just a historian of classics. And this is what he says. He says, Gnosticism is still a convenient label to present an anti-cosmic tradition in which the Platonic demiurge, like the craftsman who makes the world, in which the Platonic demiurge undergoes a radical transformation and in which the separation between the first principle and the demiurge once appears to reach the most extreme. Now, I had mentioned about its relationship with Egypt. And considering Gnosticism, according to ancient Egypt and the Bible, is the most complex religion system developed by man. It is more than simple Epicureanism and more than a reaction to Christianity as they want to lead you to believe. A product of Egyptian and Platonic thought whose roots extend back nearly 1200 years BC. So why does Gnosticism still matter to us today? Well, the first reason is to engage critics of historic Christianity who point to Gnosticism as a basic for comparison. Much of the historic status of Christianity hinges upon the nature of the conflict between early Christians and Gnosticism. Rudolf Bultmann suggested that Christianity was a development from Mandi Agnostic originating in Mesopotamia. Elaine Topol suggested that there were many forms of Christianity running around the landscape in modern Christianity won the war by being able to suppress Gnosticism. Second reason, it is purely seductive in many levels. It has a way of adapting itself to new religions and to cultural contexts. I mean, Gnosticism is real today as it was before. It grows with modern challenges. And if you compare the challenges of today with those that existed before, so Gnosticism would still apply. It still does. It still has that sexual appeal. A standard index or syllabus for introductory to Gnostic study today, a course typically covers ancient history, core beliefs, and a practical inner awakening. In my presentation, I have presented the ancient history from different perspectives and the core beliefs of Gnosticism. The practical inner awakening. This, in a course, starts with the awakening of the conscience, learning to navigate between the 7 dimensions and understanding traveling not over physical or at spiritual level, not as a horizontal process alone, but as a vertical process in which we would have the ability to move between these different realms. Hence, Gnosticism is the difference between believing in something, a belief that can be influenced and or changed, because yes, faith and religion can be influenced, can be changed, and beliefs can be changed. And that of knowing the fundamental truth, which is true Gnosticism. While our mind can still shift how we see the world, certain anchors remain fixed and cannot be influenced nor changed. Hence, to do all of this seesaw and roller coaster ride that I've given you on the different points of view of Gnosticism, I hope you have had the time to analyze your own convictions with a better understanding of the point of view of Gnosticism, or at least that I have awakened your curiosity in looking more for it and seeing how it applies in your true life. Are you the kind of person that have a blind faith thinking that a God is going to come save you? Or are you the kind of person that says, I will take the first step to save myself? Are you a kind of person that thinks that things happen by chance? Or are you the kind of person that believes that we have written our fate? Are you the kind of person that believes that things happen by a blessing or a curse? Or are you the kind of person that believes in karma? Thank you for taking the time to listen. Namaste.
Thank you, Ian. Great talk and wonderful things for us to think about and look into. And I really like the knowledge that Gnosticism is based more on spirituality than on factual, but the fact that it's been around for so long and people kind of tend to push it aside. Like you said, mainstream Christianity became more popular, and so it went by the wayside. But I want to look into it more, and I love the concept of taking your fate into your own hands. I believe that we chose a way, but I don't believe it's the only way. I believe we still have choice in what we do and how we do it. And we're not waiting for manna to drop from heaven. We'll go out and plant some wheat first. Anyway, thank you very much, Ian. Enjoy your talk and lots of things to think about, so I appreciate it.
Will you tell him
Thank you.
that if he has more to offer us, please feel free to
Yes, please, if you have more to offer to us, we would love to hear more from you. I have lots of space on my calendar for you, so we like hearing about this, and we like to hear other things that you have talked to us about in the past. So please stay with us, okay? Thank you. Oh, and that was from Kate. She wanted to make sure you knew it was from her. Okay, we have a song, Sunshine in My Soul, in your binder.
Let the sunshine of joy get into your life. There are shadows enough at best, but the day is less long when it's cheered with a song, and the singer is always blessed. Sunshine, sunshine, bringing blessings from above. Blessings, blessings. greatest of these is love. Let the sunshine of love get into your heart, and the bitter will be made sweet. Lift a burden of care which another must bear, smooth the pathway for weary feet. Sunshine, sunshine, bringing blessings from above. Blessings, blessings, and the greatest of these is love. Let the sunshine of grace get into your speech. Say a helpful and kindly word. As you pass on your way, it's so easy to say, yet how precious to those who've heard. Sunshine, sunshine, bringing blessings from above. Blessings, blessings, and the greatest of these is love. Let the sunshine of peace abide in your soul, no matter the outward strife. It illumines the way to the bright realm of day, shining on through an endless life. Sunshine, sunshine, bringing blessings from above. Blessings, blessings, and the greatest of these is love.
Thank you, Shay. We're so blessed to have Shay at this time. While Margaret is out, she's covered, and fortunately we have our own Fred Brown coming back with us in August, and so that'll give Shay a little bit of a reprieve, and hopefully he will stay with us. I know that he's been taking care of his mom and working out of town a lot, but we are blessed to have him back with us. If you will take your offerings in hand and place them over your heart and repeat with me. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Unlimited. I am prosperous. Thank you, Steve, for doing that. Bill, do you feel up to sharing with us? Awesome. A little bit worse for wear from the last time we saw him, but our own Bill Clark is with us. It looks actually pretty darn good for what he's been through. I'll hold it for you.
Today's topic is don't delay doing right. The time is always right to do what is right. Martin Luther King Jr.'s quote from. There is no sense in procrastinating about doing the right thing. It may be risky to stand up for what we believe in, but the greater risk is remaining silent and inactive. When we do nothing, we have forfeited our right to act. We are letting someone else have the control. I will do everything right. I won't delay any longer. So you all have a wonderful week. God bless.
Thank you, Bill. All right, if you will all join me up front here, we will sing our way out of here. We have no kids. We have no kids today. They're hoping to get back once school starts, but we'll see. Anyway, let's sing our way out of here. And thank you all online for being here. We appreciate you. And have a great week. Yeah.